ladies and gentlemen, we are back again with another interesting one. I hope every single one of you are doing well. There's a few things that I want to bring to your attention in regards to Jay Slater. We're getting closer to the inquest, and therefore I want to break down a few things that just don't make sense, try and make sense of them. Again, this is all about perspective. This is all about trying to gain a clearer understanding as to what potentially could have happened to Jay before he went to the Airbnb. That's what we're trying to decipher right now. Okay, cool. So one thing I'm extremely confused with is the fact that Sluggy the side chick feels that he knows what's happened. He knows every single factual detail that happened, including Jay's phone being on 1% 1 whole hour after leaving the Airbnb. According to Sluggy, Jay's phone had battery for 1 whole hour after leaving the Airbnb before it reached 1%. If it was 1 whole hour before it got to 1%, it means at the viewpoint, he still had half an hour left. You then have to ask yourself, why did Jay go off road, walk through a ravine if he had 30 minutes worth of battery life left? He had sent his location to his friends who had his exact location. They knew exactly where he were. Not only that, his ping location proves that he was not too far from the road. In fact, let's go back to Warren's video where Rachel tells us this is exactly where his phone pinged.
Rachel, do a ping. Have we done the ping?
Did a ping there, and we was at.
Anywhere near?
My last ping's here.
Here? Was his ping, I mean?
Oh, I don't know. I've dropped my pin there, so I'm walking away from it now. But look at that then. That's right. So that's that cove on Brad's.
Yeah.
You get me? That's right. So go to Brad's now. A minute. Brad's map. Yeah?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
It is because he's
Near as dam.
yeah.
In that house.
So Jay was literally where.
That house where?
He was.
So Jay was literally where that house was, according to the ping location. And we are still on a path after leaving that house, a path that is still big enough to fit a number of people along it, a path that is big enough to drive your car along. If we actually take ourselves back a little bit.
Yeah.
Brad's map. Yeah?
Yeah.
I think when she says Brad's map, she's more or less referring to the Snapchat maps that would have been sent over to Brad. Because I don't understand how Brad would have had maps. It doesn't make any sense how Brad would have had his own maps. She could only be referring to the Snapchat screenshot that Jay would have allegedly sent over to Brad. It's weird that she seems to be referring to that screenshot as Brad's maps if she is referring to the screenshots that Jay would have sent over. See, at this point, I find no other explanation as to why Brad would have maps. But the whole point here, ladies and gentlemen, is that this is where Jay's phone pinged, more or less.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is because he's
Near as dam.
yeah.
And we can see that from here, there's a lot of cactuses. It starts to go down into a ravine. But what this location proves, and what Warren, Rachel, Zach, and what Debbie's partner also proves, is that multiple people could have been at this location at once. At this point, you have to ask yourself why Jay would have been this far into the mountains by himself. Doesn't make any sense. Although this isn't that far, you could easily turn back and get back onto the road from here. Jay continuing to walk through all of this and not turn back. That's what led to many people speculating that Jay did fear for his life. It made Mark Williams Thomas's theory look plausible. Ultimately, in my opinion, Jay was never there. There's people online at the moment sharing their theories in regards to Jay and Brad running away from Ayob and those guys on the strip. The same people are using the stolen Rolex as a reason for why Brad and Jay was running. But I'm telling you now, ladies and gentlemen, that watch theory is a myth. It never happened. And therefore, if that watch theory is fake and it never happened, it gives no reason for why Jay should have been running. Running from who? Running from what? See, looking at all of the facts that we have, ladies and gentlemen, there's only one thing that stands out as to why Jay may have got into some sort of argument or fight with someone, and that's the messages between him and Brandon. Those messages point to something potentially happening between those two. Jay's bank declining, Brandon asking for the 2-ton, them being seen together, and Jay, out of all of them, is the only one that's waved out of his face. We then find out messages were sent from Brandon to Jay saying, after everything I've done for you, this is how you, more or less a betrayal message. You then have a message at 2:30 from Jay, which I thought was sent to Brandon. I can't even confirm if it was sent to Brandon or another friend, where Jay is saying he feels that they've put a marker on him. Now that kind of connects with the bank, but it also can kind of connect with someone being out to get him. Now, based on the state that Jay had found himself in, a number of people had connected the paranoia to the narcotics that he had been consuming that evening. The only problem we have with that, ladies and gentlemen, is the paranoia narrative is only being painted by two people, Lucy and Josh Forshaw. They're the two that are more or less making it look like Jay was paranoid. This is the reason why I claim that those two are the ones that come together to create that narrative. They created that WhatsApp message to send over to Debbie once they had already arranged with Ayub to throw him under the bus. See, like I told you in yesterday's video, I believe prior to the 21st or even by the 21st of June, Ayub had already told himself that he was going to be the face of the story. He's going to take on that role to technically be the last person to be seen with Jay, knowing that two of the friends, Brandon and Lucy, are going to come together to corroborate Jay leaving the Airbnb and being in the mountains because they spoke to him whilst he was in the mountains. That right there puts Ayub in the clear regardless of what Josh Forshaw has to say. The worst thing that can happen off the back of Josh Forshaw's message is the police pursuing Ayub as a drug dealer. That's literally the only incriminating thing that's mentioned in that message that could potentially put Ayub under pressure. But based on the fact that Ayub's got someone in his corner that's extremely connected with the Guardia Civil, it doesn't really matter. They're not going to pursue him for any type of drugs. So later on down the line, when Ayub is questioned by someone like Mark Williams Thomas, the only person that more or less questions Ayub thereafter, because the police ain't going to question Ayub later. You know, they've got their statement. They deemed him irrelevant within 24 hours. I think the reason why Police Nationale wanted to speak to Ayub, if they did speak to Ayub, is because of what Mark Williams Thomas said to them. But Mark Williams Thomas told us he gave all of his information to the Spanish police. The only problem for Mark Williams Thomas now when dealing with Ayub knows that Mark has no jurisdiction. Ayub knows that Mark Williams Thomas can't arrest him, can't do him nothing. Ayub more or less plays the game, controls the narrative. If Mark Williams Thomas mentions anything about narcotics, Ayub's going to play it all down. Another thing that's also interesting, ladies and gentlemen, and also proves that Josh Forshaw is a plant. Well, the first time we ever saw the picture of Jay in the back of the car, which we now know was taken by Ayub, that picture was added to the message that Josh Forshaw sent over to Debbie. That would have been the first time anyone saw a picture of Jay in the back of the car. Now, if we go by what Ayub has said to Mark Williams Thomas, that he's got pictures of Jay in the back of the car smiling his face off, then we can only assume that Ayub would be the only person with those pictures. Well, if he's the only one with those pictures, how the hell did Josh Forshaw get his hands on the picture of Jay in the back of the car with the actual wording across the front of it? See, how did Josh Forshaw know that he needed to screenshot that particular photo? He was screenshot and archived that particular photo, but in regards to the video footage of Jay with two knives stuffed down his trousers, he's going to delete that. Yeah, he's going to delete that.
So Jay was literally where
That house where?
He was. That is it.
Because we've gone past that now, haven't we?
Yeah. So.
Or else have you done? Did you ping before?
No, I pinged at the house.
Oh well, it's in a meter search.
So you've got to think,
So we're
ladies
in the
and
right
gentlemen,
area.
if this is where Jay's ping's location is, right? Secondly, where's the ditch that Jay would have fallen into? Thirdly, why would Jay not have chilled at this point, which is not as dangerous as it starts to become, but at this point, Jay's more or less safe. Why would you continue to walk all the way around? You can see Debbie's partner in the blue right here, showing you the path bends round to the left, which means if Jay was here, Jay would have continued bending round to the left instead of just walking back on himself. And then what Jay would have done, he would have got to a dead end where he would have more or less come across cactus like this, cactuses that are 7 foot tall, and in shorts and a t-shirt, he would have decided to say, you know what? I'm going through this. Again, ladies and gentlemen, it's all about perspective. It's all about trying to understand certain aspects of this story. If that was Jay Slater's pinpoint location, it means multiple people could have been there. It means cars could have been there. It means Jay had enough time to chill, wait for his friends to come to the ping location, walk back the way he come. I mean, there were so many things that Jay could have done at that point. He could have also connected with a person that was partially living in one of those huts. So I'm just struggling to comprehend Jay Slater's thinking. What was he thinking and why was he thinking that way? I don't believe it was the drugs. The drugs would have not made him do this. And the reason I say that, because I know certain drugs like Ket that can make people do some wild stuff. But the reason I say that is because you're telling me this guy that was on Ket, that was more or less paranoid and hallucinating, he was able to walk up that whole whirly road without falling off. See, that road's got cliff drops. That road's got parts where you can go off road at any point. Why didn't Jay decide to go off road there? Why did Jay walk all the way to the viewpoint, to the top of the mountain, continue to walk for maybe a few more minutes, to then walk on a path? And then he followed that path all the way to a dead end, decided to cross that dead end in shorts and a t-shirt, walk through a ravine to ultimately fall to his death. Mind you, the whole walk took him 3.5 hours. Although at the top of this video, we had Sluggy the side chick saying that Jay had battery for at least 1 whole hour before it reached 1%. Make it make sense, ladies and gentlemen. There will be some slight contradictions with my theory. The reason I say that is because my theory is starting to change a little bit. I'm starting to think that Jay may not have been in the mountains for the whole entire 29 days. He could have been dead for 29 days, but he may not have been in the mountains for 29 days. And this is the reason why we do have the A team, the accident group, that are doing everything in their power to sell us this narrative of it just being an accident. They are really trying to drum it into us that it's an accident, which to me doesn't make any sense, because the only people the accident group should be trying to convince that it is an accident is the family. You believe that the family are on the same page as you and they agree with your narrative and that it's an accident, then why are you guys still online trolling, writing paragraphs after paragraphs, obsessed with proving to the world that what happened to Jay in Tenerife was just an accident? I know people may laugh at that and throw it straight back in my face by saying, well, Wax, you're coming across exactly the same way by saying something sinister happened to Jay when you have no proof. Well, the true facts are, ladies and gentlemen, is we've got more proof to prove that there's a cover-up, more proof to prove that something sinister happened to Jay over them proving that it was just an accident. See, the only problem is for the foul play group is that we don't have an authority figure in our corner thoroughly investigating what truly happened to Jay Slater. But the accident group, they do have an authority figure in their corner claiming that it was just an accident. So on that basis, although we have so much more evidence to prove otherwise, their corner is the corner that ultimately control the official narrative. Ladies and gentlemen, I need to know exactly what you guys are thinking after this one. Make sure you leave all of your thoughts and comments down below. We've got plenty more content uploading, so you don't want to go anywhere. Make sure you go and check out the creepy and mysterious videos that we have been dropping over these past couple of days. We've got plenty more of those uploading. You don't want to go anywhere, as well as more disturbing videos. Plenty more, ladies and gentlemen. You don't want to go anywhere. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if we're newly watching, turn your notification bells on, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one.